KTN, Nairobi.
Crossing borders as the war in the Middle East escalates, its effect and impact is now starting to be felt worldwide, including right here in Kenya. Locally, President William Ruto has condemned the escalating war, saying the countries involved should instead pursue negotiations. Iran's ambassador to Kenya, Dr. Ali Gholampour, has said Iran was provoked, adding that Iran is using a legal move to defend itself. And as Winfrey Owino now reports, the envoy has also hinted at strained bilateral relations with the Kenyan government. Listen in.
Since February 28th of 2026, the global headlines have been focused on the war in the Middle East that has pitted the United States of America and Israel on one side and Iran on the other. The conflict, centered around nuclear armory, has now spilled to the Middle East region. Monday, there were reports of Iranian strikes in Saudi Arabia and Qatar energy sites with projected global gas price hikes as the US reported a fourth military officer's death. Locally, President William Ruto, through his X account, said, and I quote, "Kenya strongly condemns the strikes on the UAE, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Oman, Kuwait, Jordan and Bahrain in the evolving conflict in the Middle East." He added, regionalization of this conflict poses a grave threat to the international peace and security. End of quote. He called for urgent multi-stakeholder engagement towards de-escalation.
We don't want to leave Kenya in a place where we are going to be left with egg on our face when the dust settles.
In a media briefing hours later, the Iranian ambassador to Kenya defended the attacks, saying Iran was provoked.
And it is obvious that when you are attacked and under military aggression, you shall not sit down and watch.
The envoy has assured Kenyans that the missiles cannot reach Kenya since they have capped the range at 2,000 kilometers and that very few Kenyans are in Iran during this conflict.
Of course, we are very diligently and very smartly, we are controlling the Strait of Hormuz, but it's open yet, it's not closed yet. And we do believe that all the countries and the governments should show their responsibility and protect the rights of their people for prosperity, for trade and access to food, access to energy. So the trade relations between Iran and Kenya was damaged before by the US coercive measures, illegitimate sanctions imposed by Iran, especially on banking transactions.
Iran is one of the world's most natural resource-rich nations and ranked among the top 5 leading oil producers globally. Therefore, its instability, experts foresee an increase in global fuel pricing, which will result in high cost of living for Kenyans.
The biggest part I am seeing affecting Africa and Kenya in particular is in transport. A lot of Kenyans fly to Dubai or transit through Dubai and the Middle East on their way to the Far East.
With Iran's representative to Kenya insisting that the country will not back down from the conflict, uncertainty on the welfare of Kenyans living, studying and working in the Middle East arises. However, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has promised to monitor the situation and urged Kenyans in the Middle East to report to the nearest embassies in case of an emergency. Winfrey Owino, KTN.